It's my great pleasure to introduce our speaker today. For those of you who do not know these people, Anthony Reese and Marlena Reese are ministers of the Fellowship of the Inner Light and Order of Melchizedek and a whole lot more. And they have served this church for many, many years on the pastoral council, board of directors, behind the scenes, on top of the scenes, under the scenes, all around town. And our speaker today is a friend to many, a mentor to many, a teacher to many, and a fellow sojourner with many. And Anthony and Marlena now serve people and family out of town in the Newport News area. And so we're so happy just to even see you, because we all have busy lives, and you might as well be California and New York, when you're a few cities away sometimes. So we're delighted, and we have opened our hearts and minds to receive your inspired message, Anthony. So come on up. Let's give him a warm welcome.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. There's so much that I would like to say to everyone here. I'm just overwhelmed with the energy you have put into this fellowship. It's just gorgeous. So I'm going to have to do that at lunchtime. So hopefully we'll get a chance to be together around lunchtime. I wanted to let you know my favorite color is green. My favorite number is 11. And I'm an Aries. So I figured you should know that since we're going to be dating for the next 30 minutes. Okay? So I want you to kind of close your eyes for a minute and kind of imagine yourself on a hill in a canoe with paddles. So these are your alternate selves in this predicament. So you have that image? See how weird that seems? Okay. So we're going to leave your alternate selves there for a minute and just come back here to the fellowship. So we're going to return and see what happens with your alternate selves. One of the things that we think about is our imagination kind of begins when we are in our mother's wombs. So we understand the womb to the tomb. But what about those energies where there are a select few who actually remember what it was like to be spirit? So you go from spirit and then you return to spirit. Not too many of us know that experience or remember that experience. So being here at the fellowship, we know that a lot of us are metaphysicians. We are deeply involved with the metaphysical world. So let's go back to some of the basics of what is metaphysics. Metaphysics is a branch of philosophy that explores the nature of being and existence and reality. Metaphysics seeks to answer in a suitable, abstract, and fully general manner the questions, what is there and what is it like? The topics of metaphysical investigation include existence, objects, their properties, space and time, cause and effect, and possibilities. There is also another term that actually I just came to read the other day called quantum mysticism. Has anybody ever heard that? Quantum mysticism. Which is actually exactly what we practice here. Quantum mysticism. They describe it as a set of metaphysical beliefs and associated practices that seek to relate consciousness, intelligence, spirituality, or mystical worldviews to the ideas of quantum mechanics and its interpretations. Quantum mysticism is considered by most scientists and philosophers to be pseudoscience or quackery. So, and where have we heard that before? Some of the things that I know that you are actually gifted with, they think it's quackery. They think it's hocus pocus. We have this cart and we're selling our wares How amazing is that? That science hasn't caught up to us. Truly, science hasn't caught up to us. Hasn't caught up to the fellowship of the inner light or caught up to you as an individual. But they're working on it. Eventually, they changed their minds. There have been many scientists who started out not believing in some of this quantum mysticism and are now believers and practice it. Neuroscientists, doctors. There are many modern healing and energy work that is based on these very concepts. Edgar Casey, Paul and Sharon Solomon, Jerry Teplitz, Marty and Bruce, a lot of prayer, Robert Krajenki, even the science of trying to get to help emotionally disturbed people. That's all a practice of quantum mysticism. Now let's return back to our canoe, our alternate selves. How are you faring? Has anybody tried to paddle up that hill? How steep is your hill? What about maybe going the other way? Because canoe has 2 points. Has wherever it's facing, it's always pointing the opposite direction. How are you faring? Sometimes we are born into circumstances that presents that dilemma, isn't it? Hardship. There are times when we become conscious that we are faced with paddling uphill. Tough. Very tough. We understand that life isn't always that easy, no matter how quantumly mystic we are, how spiritually evolved we are, how metaphysical we are. Metaphysical. New term. I'm putting that in the dictionary. So let's leave that alternate selves back, because we're going to return and we're going to try to find some of the solutions to that dilemma. So even though we kind of talk and live and practice mystically, quantumly, what about our everyday life? So some of the things that I have found, at least in my walk in life, in this earth plane journey, I have some basic tools that I work out some of these dilemmas with. So one of those first tools is accepting that what I have here is called blood, sweat, and tears. You are definitely going to be sweating, bleeding, and crying through some of your dilemmas, your episodes, which involves a lot of work and energy and sacrifice. And that's basic to this dimension. Isn't it? Isn't it? Another one is to manage your perceptions to change your reality. So how do we fare that way? We all come with perceptions. Our own, it's personal to us, intimate to us. No one can experience it the way we do. And sometimes you have to manage those. And that in itself is kind of hard. Because remember, you have these belief systems that you start with, that people gave you. And you didn't give them to yourselves in the beginning. We give it to you by your parents and your ministers and your teachers and your siblings, and you have this walk that is based on what they say goes. Another tool I use is sourcing or resourcing. So there's what I call big God and little God. So we feel sometimes that we are separate from each other. We are separate from the great Creator. We are separate from God. And so do we feel like we are always connected to God? We don't always feel that way because we're distracted by matter. The everydays of life. I got to work, I have to pay bills, I have to get from point A to point B, and there's traffic, I have to take care of children. And these are some of the things that distract us from realizing that we are connected even though we're not conscious of our connection. We just are. And this a point when Lloyd read, he said that atoms behave like atoms, nothing else. And that was in search of Schrodinger's cat. And of course, Schrodinger's cat is the thought experiment that resulted in the paradox that we are both, or at least the cat was both dead and alive. So this cat was placed in this box with poison and radiation. And so your thought was, how's that cat faring? So the paradox is that the cat is both dead and alive until you open up the box to discover what the reality is. So sourcing is connecting. Connecting with each other, connecting with our higher faith, our higher power. And then when we forget that, we have to resource. We have to resource. That means we know we're connected, but we don't remember we're connected. So we have to resource. And that source is, of course, each other. And of course, what we consider God. What about mentoring one another? And a lot of you don't know it, but when I was here, most of the time, you were mentoring me. I just didn't let you know you were. I didn't. I took all the best that you could offer and put it here. Meditation, healing. Robert Krajenke used to tell me, less is more. Jerry Teplitz, keep it simple. All those traits I was absorbing. I was influenced by them. What about mentoring two others? You all have gifts. You all have knowledge that you could actually instill on other folks to actually make someone's day a little bit easier. Prayer. Who do you pray to and who do you pray for? Sometimes we pray to that higher source, that higher power, our higher selves. But sometimes we have this internal prayer to ourselves. Let me be better today. Let me be gentle today. Let me be more happy today. So we're praying internally. And the higher source, in my opinion, and my practice, lives here. So why aren't we praying this way and always that way? And certainly praying for others is a magical experience because you're thinking about that person, you're connecting. And they may not always feel it. And lots of times, especially in Fellowship of Day and the Light, they feel it. They may not know who it's coming from, but they do feel it. Meditation. What do we think about? Anything we think about is a meditation. There are formal meditations like what you've seen us do this morning. Susan had us go through one. My wonderful friend here had us go through one. Thank you. The Seven Terrace meditation. Cynthia, thank you. Appreciate that. Meditation on the music, Joe Bernath. So whatever you think of is a meditation. In fact, some of you actually went into a meditation with some of the words that might have triggered you thinking about something that happened in the past or something that's going to happen in the future. So our minds are always in flux. Our thoughts are in flux. Our energies are in flux. And one of the final tools that I use is practicing love. Now, I like to think that I am being love. But what if you're just starting out about loving folks? So I say, at least practice love. And so I said, so what is love? So, of course, having a deep entrenchment in the Bible in my past, I went to 1 Corinthians 13:4-8, which is affectionately known as the love chapter. And I'm going to read it. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. And so every time I got a place to where it says do not, I changed it into a positive. So it does not envy, so I replaced it with rejoice in another one's fortune. Be goodwill. It does not boast, so I changed that to modest, be concealing. It is not proud, so I changed that to be humble. It does not dishonor others, so be pleasant, honor others. Lift others up. It is not self-seeking, altruistic, be altruistic. It is not easily angered, so be more friendly and good humorous and have more merriment. It keeps no record of wrongdoings. Well, keep a record of the right doings. Love does not delight in evil. Think of goodness. But rejoice with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. Love is forever. But in that expression, in the love chapter of Corinthians, does it say love is easy? No. Loving someone isn't always easy. It certainly is an opportunity for you to see how well you're doing in that practice of love. So anytime you get past yourself, exponentially you add another person, they come with their filters. They come with their gifts. You add another person, before you know it, you're trying to love all these people, and you find that you need to get back into practice. Get more practice about loving. Because sometimes loving others don't make it easy for you to do that. But persevere. I often think that oftentimes my heavenly creator, he, she, is being patient with myself, working it out. So don't worry, I got you. I know you're being stubborn today, but I'm still going to love you. So imagine you can do that with a lot of the folks that you have difficulty with. So let's return back to our canoe. How's everybody faring? So let's think about some of the possibilities that could have happened, that you could be doing in a canoe with paddles on a hill. First of all, you don't have to be in that canoe. You don't have to be paddling. You could change directions. You could take that canoe, pick it up, and put it in water. There's all sorts of possibilities in your life that you can alter, even though folks gave you that dilemma when you first landed in this earth plane. Anybody could think of anything else they could do with that boat, that canoe on a hill?
Take a nap.
Take a nap. Right. Take a nap. That's a good one. I didn't think of that one.
Float with an airplane.
Say it again.
Take the airplane.
Float. Airplane? Make it an airplane. So you actually imagining it to be an airplane, or actually building it to be an airplane? Imagining.
sunbathing because we don't have enough sun in Germany.
A shelter. I turned it over and called up underneath it and now shaded it from the heat.
The heat. Okay.
Walk away from it.
Walk away from it. Change your mindset. I'm not going to participate
That's right.
in this experiment, this alternate reality. That's right.
I've got here's my image. A canoe. It isn't in the water, but it's on sand. You got the oar, and it's been ground down. So some new oars to start off, and then pushing it back in the water.
Back to the world. So with all those possibilities, and believe me, it can go on and on and on, all the things that you hit this plane with can set you on different possibilities, a different reality. And so I would be remiss to say this, though, which I'm not qualified as a psychotherapist, that if there is anyone in here who is having hardship, emotional hardship, and is thinking about committing suicide, thinking about those hard days when they have had enough frustration, please seek help. Case in point, my granddaughter, her graduation was coming up. And so she was asking people, what's it like to be depressed? What's it like to feel like you want to kill yourself? And people were missing it. The teachers were missing it. They said, oh, you're too young to be thinking this way. And you shouldn't be thinking this way. And she was really asking for help. She was asking, help me understand why I might be missing my mommy. So I was on alert for this. I was on alert, and I was hearing her ask for help. And without judgment, I listened to what she was saying, what she was feeling. And other teachers were told her that if you commit suicide, you'd go to hell. Teachers. They were heaping judgment. And I understood that. I did understand it. They didn't have the time or the attention to try to deal with her issue. But she was asking, even my daughter who she lives with was missing it. She was blowing her off. But I realized that because she was graduating, she was missing her mom, watching her experience that being promoted. So we got her connected to someone, and she feels better now. She was just really missing her mother feeling that experience. But if we are always judging what people might be saying and thinking and feeling without first connecting and say, well, let me listen, then we could miss. And we've seen children go to school with guns, and they always said that person was trouble, and we miss it. We just miss it. And I'm not saying we're going to catch every single one, but we do miss the opportunities. So I would like to say that I appreciate the opportunity to be before you. I have so many things I would like to talk to so many people about. And I'm hoping that I'm just going to read over the tools again, that sometimes this life takes work, energy, and sacrifice in spite of our quantum mysticism. Manage your perceptions to change your reality. Source and resourcing. Think of it as big God, little God. Mentor or be mentored. Follow the golden rule, which is, do unto others as you would want them to do unto you. But I like Jerry's platinum rule, which is Jerry Teplett's, do unto others as they would have them be done unto them. In other words, you are asking them, what do you want? Prayer, meditation, and be or practice love. And with that, I thank you for this time, and I appreciate your time and attention. As always, I am just enthralled with the energy and love that I receive here in this place, and you have done a fabulous job to maintain this joy that you feel coming through the door. So thank you.